Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. Are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Now, as much as it's been so positive to see what RT Snyder Cut has achieved and the Project Comic Con movement for, to put pressure on Warner Brothers to release the Snyder Cut, there's also a negative side. And this time, it isn't from our fandom. And of course, there is a negative side to our fandom, and we can't deny that. There's a negativity to all fandoms. We can't pretend it's all roses and violets. But unfortunately, we have bloggers who blog about movies and TV who couldn't give a shit about movies and TV and always find another negative angle. So I've got a couple of articles. Later on, we're going to read one from the Mary Sue. I haven't read that, but the Mary Sue, obviously, is a feminist website, so it isn't going to be good, is it? Now, this is Julia Alexander, who has some choice words about the fan entitlement. Now, first of all, and actually I'm going to talk more about this, but these people don't understand how consumer-based businesses work. Us, the consumer, will only pay you, the business, if you give us content that we want. We don't have to swallow what you give us. Right. Late Night Dispatch. Let's talk about the Snyder Cut by Julia Alexander. A quick note. I used to write a newsletter and I stopped because life got busy. Oh, fuck off. Let's just read the article. Right, here we are. I almost wish Justice League had never come out. Not because I hate the movie. Sure, it's boring and unentertaining, but there are a few solid scenes. It's a perfectly fine, forgettable film. But the longer-lasting conspiracy theory around the supposed alternate version known as the Snyder Cut has divided the fan base for almost 2 years. I didn't realise it's divided us. I thought it united us. But anyway, now, on the eve of San Diego Comic-Con, home of the greatest fan gathering in the United States, devout believers behind the proverbial Release the Snyder Cut campaign have brought their mostly online petition to California. Sunny Streets, more than $20,000 was reportedly raised, no, it was raised, sweetheart, to purchase posters that read Release the Snyder Cut, which will appear on the billboards and bus shelters. A full-page ad will be taken out on the Hollywood Reporter. Half of the money raised will go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention in honour of Snyder's late daughter, Autumn. I want to be clear, that's genuinely remarkable. Yeah, before she slaughters us. The issue isn't that fans are raising money for a good cause. Now, here she comes in. It's a wonderful sentiment. It's not even an issue that people believe a 3.5-hour version of Justice League, untouched by replacement director Joss Whedon, exists and they want to see it. The problem is the attitude surrounding the original release. The Snyder Cut was born out of a sense of entitlement that has wreaked havoc on fandom for years. A sense of entitlement from people who pay studios money to watch content. Yes, we are entitled to watch the films we want to watch the kind of content. It's not down to you, a blogger who doesn't even care about this industry, doesn't care about superheroes. You're talking about something you don't give a shit about. But of course, yes, we are entitled. We pay our money. That's the point, isn't it? This is what you cold-hearted people don't get. Let's get a few important bullet points out of the way. Yes, there is almost certainly an alternate Justice League cut. This is true for many movies. Footage gets left on the editing floor. Different cuts are scrapped. The version that includes even more of Snyder's input is probably floating around somewhere. Now, more importantly, Warner Bros. Has no obligation to release an alternate version. The movie is owned by them, created by Snyder and finished by Whedon. This is how entertainment works. It's why fan fiction exists, for those who envision something different. No. This is something extremely different. Zack Snyder made a film. His daughter died. He couldn't emotionally carry on to make the film. They promised him that his film would be put out there, his vision. And then they got Joss Whedon to rewrite elements of the film and reshoot it. That's not how the industry works. But that doesn't sit well with Stans. Here you go, with Stans. Oh, this is so funny. They got little names for us as well. The Snyder Cut campaign exists because people believe hadn't gotten the movie they've been promised, as The Ringer reported this year, like the ending of Mass Effect 3. My controversy facing the most recent Star Wars trilogy. People believe they have a say in the entertainment they invested time into. And money. Those of angry people demanded that BioWare fix Mass Effect 3 in 2012 when the ending wasn't what they thought it would be. Trolls released their own trolls. People are trolls. This is how they try and dirty your name, make you look like scum by calling you trolls. No, that's not trolls. Trolls are bullies. Trolls are people who force people to be depressed and want to commit suicide. I know what trolls are, but you call anyone trolls who don't fit your narrative, sweetheart. Release their own edited versions of Star Wars movies, removing women or changing the tone, God dear, of the film to appease their own interests. Large swaths of fandom have become more toxic over the last 15 years, and it's mostly driven by a false sense of entitlement and ownership they never had. It's funny, isn't it? We're called toxic. We're called toxic. These are the people who write articles and call the consumer toxic. The person who invests love and money and soul into these franchises and just wants to see good movies that are not sacrificed for political reasons because they want people to smile more, because they wanted to make a Marvel Cinematic Universe type, because they wanted to please critics and they didn't. They made the wrong decision. They took a film and instead of saying, we don't like what this bloke's done, bin it, right, just make your own movie, which I would have been fine with, by the way. It would have been disappointing, but I've been fine with that. They took a director who made a film whose daughter had died, promised him his film will be out in the cinema, put his scenes in the trailers, then made a totally different film. That, yes, Zack Snyder and the fans were entitled to a lot better, but you don't care. You don't care because you don't care about film. You're just writing about it. And you're obviously from the extreme left. And let me be clear, people from the extreme left and extreme right only see things from a certain black and white point of view. What's politics got to do with it? Because these people are political. They are. And they take their words and they rewrite things and they try and make ordinary people who work hard, who earn their money, who pay their money to want to watch certain types of content, and then when they don't get it, they're upset. They make us look like trolls and bullies, and we're not. We're passionate, we're not bullies. But she doesn't care, that's why she's not passionate. And like the case of Mass Effect 3, and by the way, I don't even know what Mass Effect 3 is, never mind. On Star Wars, some people within the hyper-organised Snyder Cut campaign are ready to argue about it with anyone who tweets or write about the topic. No. It's when you trigger people. It's when you insult people. You are insulting them. You've already called them stands. And like the Snyder Cut campaign are ready to argue about it with anyone who tweets or writes about the topic. As the AV Club noted in June, any less than glowing comment, Twitter post or AM article about Snyder's dark and dour attempt to match Marvel's lineup of world-beating interconnected film franchises is met with the kind of veering intro harassment of defensiveness usually reserved online for the likes of Milo Yiannopoulos or the Paul brothers. No. People want to defend what they love. If you're trying to tear down what someone loves, they're going to try and defend it. What do you expect? Because you've got a blue tick, we're just going to read it and say, oh, yes, Your Highness. This is the people. It's actually you people, the verifieds, the bloggers, that got some kind of self-entitlement, right? Just because you can punctuate and write a sentence doesn't make you superior. The AV Club's irreverent and snarky tone is easy to scoff at as over-exaggerated, but the passage isn't far from the truth. People were leaking screenshots of Facebook message chats with random crew members on Justice League as proof the cut exists. Yeah. Every photo posted by Snyder on social media at Vero added to the overall testament that it was real. Everything seemed to come to a head early this year at many conventions celebrating Snyder's work, where he seemingly all but confirmed that a cut exists. Fans wanted to prove that Justice League, which even they recognised wasn't super great, was a victim of Warner Brothers holding the real version hostage, which they're doing. I used to tell friends, well, she's got friends, that people set up ping words for Snyder Cut just to reply to any tweet that is insinuated it was getting a little ridiculous. That semi-joke only existed because I watched colleagues, random online strangers, and even DC executives face swarms of harassment for trying to talk about it. One DC Comics executive even reportedly left Twitter after dealing with angry Snyder fans. Yes, that was out of order. I will concede that. Some fans just can't control themselves. They're too passionate, and I'm not making excuses for them. So there is an element of truth there. This doesn't account for all fans, I know, but the overwhelmingly narrative is that people are clamouring online to get Warner Brothers executives to release the Snyder Cut are negatively affecting fandom. No, it's not a negative thing. It's a movement. We want to see the film. We don't want to hurt anyone. We don't want to upset anyone. But at the end of the day, people who only see things in extremes and in black and white will never understand that. People without a heart, people without a soul will never understand that. We know that. This is a movement, in short, that has grown used to industry skepticism and online negativity, Rob Harvilla wrote for The Ringer. It hasn't stopped when AT&T acquired Warner Media, Warner Brothers' parent company. People slid into AT&T DMs on Twitter and frantically mentioned the demanding the Snyder Cut. When Warner Brothers announced Ann Sarnoff is its new CEO, the first woman to hold the position, she had to mention that, by the way, the welcome tweet was inundated with people demanding the cut just recently upon Warner Media's announcement that its own direct-to-consumer streaming service, HBO Max, would launch next year. People on Twitter demanded, well, you get it. Do we remember the flowers we were sending to the secretaries and the personal people working behind the desks? Did you mention that? Of course you didn't. The difference between all of the aforementioned moments in this nearly 2-year campaign and Comic-Con, where a banner plane will reportedly fly over San Diego, planning with Warner Brothers to release the cut. Pleading with Warner Bros. To release the cut, is the move from the online to offline. That kind of initiative has only really happened once before. A group of cosplayers got together in 2018 to peacefully march outside Warner Bros. Office in Los Angeles. Not much came of it. But this isn't an office building in LA. This is a convention where fans get together to celebrate the pop culture in their lives, to celebrate their favourite artists. It's positive force of energy. The campaign to release the cut may seem like a celebratory act to those participating in it, but the movement isn't positive. Yes, it is. It's the definition of toxic entitled behaviour. Wow. She doesn't know one of us individually. Right, you don't know me. I'm not toxic. Most of the people are not toxic. How dare you? How freaking dare you? You are a horrible, cold-hearted, extreme woman who doesn't understand. You only see things from your own point of view. You're not trying to see things from our point of view, and you're just calling us a toxic movement. But of course you're doing this because you want us to be toxic to you. You want to prove your point at the end of the day. You can prove your point, you can disprove your point. And the point is the Snyder movement mostly is a bunch of passionate, film-going people who want to see the real film, who want to give justice to a man who was stabbed in the back by a studio after his daughter had taken her own life. Right. Entitled behaviour that so many people in various fandom circles have spent years trying to escape. Bringing the campaign to San Diego Comic-Con and literally holding it over people's head. Oh yeah, we're going to be grabbing people's heads, of course we are. Isn't funny, charming, smart or brave. It's inconsiderate. Comic-Con should be a place for the utmost consideration. Not to mention Warner Brothers isn't even going to be at Comic-Con this year. No, but everyone going to that, the community will see it. That's the point, sweetie. I've thought a lot about fan entitlement over the last 5 years. We've watched the worst of what that looks like through major social political events like Gamergate. Other cases like Star Wars and the gross reaction from angry Game of Thrones fans. Yes, how dare we get angry? We only paid for HBO. We only paid that channel literally to watch Game of Thrones. But sweetheart, we shouldn't be angry. We should just be banned to all of you in power, with blue ticks, with verified. I'm so sorry we have opinions. And we get annoyed when we pay for something and we're stabbed in the back, right? I'm so sorry. You're so right. Like Star Wars and the gross reaction from angry Game of Thrones fans who work to ensure that pictures of showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Wise appeared when Bad Writers was Google are just extensions of that moment. Fan entitlement has real-life consequences, and the Snyder Cut movement is part of that dangerous trend. Now, there's nothing dangerous. There is nothing dangerous whatsoever. What is very dangerous, sweetheart, is people like you, people in this industry, because at the end of the day, you are part of that industry. You won't speak the truth because you're part of it, because you want to kiss their backsides. You want to protect them because you're getting the green. You're all in it together. That's not a conspiracy theory. This is how this industry works. If you did an article speaking the truth about the Snyder Cut, all your little reviews and all the little treats you get because you have a blue tick and you're a journalist that I've never heard of, but never mind, right? That would all go. So you're all part of the agenda. So you actually, my friend, can't be trusted. Your words are futile. You're wasting your energy because no one's swallowing what you're saying. The only people who are going to listen to you are the people who think this already. Where are we? I'll leave you with a piece of story from Polygon Susan Polo that I think about almost once a week. We cannot change the media in our lives. Literally, we don't own it. No, but we pay for it. We pay for it. None of this belongs to us. We pay for it. Much as that can hurt, the core of our identities are not tied into pop culture. We pay for it. That enters our lives. The more we can sit with that and accept it, the better fandom will be for us all. So we should pay for something, get a load of crap and just sit there and thank you. We should pay for something that has passive-aggressive political messages in it, but we should just take it on the chin. No, never. Here we go. Expecting creators to revise work after it is released or even to merely participate in the conversation around their work is a breach of social contract. No, it's not. You just made that up. You literally made that up. And expecting that massive media corporations behind so many modern creators will do the same, will leave you exhausted every time. It's okay to be disappointed. Oh, thank you. Thank you for giving me permission. Something without asking that creators hand your control over that thing, especially if control to you only means that they have to do it again in the way you'd prefer. The Snyder Cut probably exists. We know. Thank you for that. No, it almost certainly does. It should also never be released. It's not for us. If we were meant to see it, we've had seen it already. We haven't seen it because they won't let us see it. Because the man did it. He had to take time with his family because his daughter had taken her own life. And then they stabbed him in the back. And they lied to us. They called it a Zack Snyder film. And it absolutely wasn't. This woman is an absolute disgrace, written by Julia Alexander. Nonsense thoughts about technology and life, like I guess. Just, an absolute... You can tell that this woman has no affinity for film, for storytelling, but she can write and she can talk. And this is how these people become powerful and get blue ticks. But the very truth here is, and I don't speak well. I can't even read well. Look at me. I'm all sweaty, hair messed up, white vest. I'm just another man in my 40s giving my opinion. I'm sure I'm quite irrelevant to Julia Alexander. But the truth is, let me be absolutely clear here. Yes, there is fan entitlement because when you pay for something, you expect to get what you pay for. When I buy a cola, I expect it to taste like cola, not like Orangeade. When I see trailer upon trailer showing me a film's going to be a certain way, and then it's not, and I'm sitting in the cinema and I'm thinking, what the fuck am I watching here? I have entitlement. I spent over 10 euros to watch Justice League, as well as my drinks and my refreshments, right? And I didn't get what I paid for, apart from the refreshments. So yes, we are entitled, because once you pay your money, you are entitled. The Snyder Cut isn't just a version of a film on the cutting room floor. This isn't just another version of a film. The Snyder Cut is the betrayal of a creative, of a director, of a good man who lost his daughter and had to go off and mourn her and support his family, and then he was betrayed by the studio. In fact, Julia, it's you who have self-entitlement. It's you who sees the film industry the wrong way. It's you who's protective of studios because you, my friend, are in their pockets. You ask, Mick, why are you reading out this negativity? What's the point? It's important to show how stupid, how mean, how cruel people who have a blue tick, who have respect, are. It's important to show how infactual, they are, how wrong they are about people, about film fans. Sometimes consumers act in the wrong way, that is true. But I don't believe the Snyder movement is a toxic place. I don't believe what we're doing is toxic. We are trying to right a wrong. That is it. And for them to call us toxic and entitled is a very interesting way to put things. But I think it is very, very important to show these people for what they are. Now, I'm probably only going to get 100 views for this video because I'm not a very big channel. But at the end of the day, I think it's very important as someone who covers the DCEU, Zack Snyder, and lots of different things, that I show this negativity for what it is. What they are saying is plain wrong, cruel. And in fact, they're the toxic bullies. One's already proved it, but this one's even worse. Here we go. There are 3 Snyder Cut billboards outside San Diego Comic-Con. And no, this is not a joke. It begins. But listen to this. Despite it being nearly 2 years after the fact, the Snyder Cut fans have not given up their quest to see Zack Snyder's full 3-hour cut of Justice League. Last month, they crowdfunded $20,000 to purchase billboards around San Diego, just in time for San Diego Comic-Con, demanding that Warner Bros. Release the fabled Snyder Cut. That probably doesn't even really exist in fully finished form. Well, it pretty much does, but even if it doesn't, sweetheart, if they gave Zack permission, he can finish it off. It's shot. It may need sound, it may need music, it may need VFX, whatever it needs, but it's a shot, completed movie, right? We all know that. So you're not really making us look stupid or anything. We spent a lot of time poking fun. There you go. There you go. Poking fun at the Snyder fans who want this cut so badly. So I'm not going to go into too many jokes, but at some point, going into such over-the-top, incredibly public length for the crusade deserves some mocking. There you go. Do you think we deserve mocking? Who do you think's the toxic bullies? The Snyder fans or these people? The Mary Sue. The Mary Sue, everyone, who said we deserve to be bullied and mocked. The Mary Sue, a feminist site, has said that fans deserve to be bullied and mocked. Remember that? Write it down, go onto Twitter and spread it around. The truth has to be told here. Here we go. It's time to mock Snyder's DCEU films. Snyder's DCEU films were not well received. Man of Steel was a gritty nightmare. And Batman v Superman was an overlong mess that featured Batman killing people and ended by killing off Superman, who hadn't really done much to earn any impact in that sacrifice. He gets better. The DCEU film that was well received was incidentally the film that Snyder wasn't really involved in. Wonder Woman, with the balance of heavy and drama, succeeded at the box office and critically. The film Snyder wasn't involved with. It's a shame I'm not a bit more organised, because I've got quotes from Patty Jenkins that she asked advice for Zack on a lot of things, including the fighting choreography, so it fitted in with the rest of the DCEU films we saw thus far. Hilarious how uninformed these people are. It's true that when Joss Whedon took over directing duties for Snyder, he overhauled the film, trimming it down and making it funnier. The jokes were not super great and included a good deal of objectifying Diana. Oh, here we go, their real agenda's out. And the blending of both directors' work was far from seamless. The ultimate film was not particularly good and flopped at the box office. Justice League Part 2 is probably never happening now. Oh, God. Wake up, sweetheart. We've known that for years. But I can almost guarantee that based on what Snyder has said about his plans for the film, his cut wouldn't have fared much better either. That is not true. That is not true. It would have made more money. And us, the Snyder fans, would have loved it. Still, the billboards exist. Fans raised $20,000 to put them up, and I guarantee that if they just raised that money to donate to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention in memory of Snyder's daughter, which they already did with half of it, it would have been a greater honour to Snyder. Well, Zack Snyder's a millionaire and he can donate as much money as he wants to that foundation, and we've already donated quite a bit. But half of it should go to the campaign, and actually that's what Zack wants. But you don't know Zack Snyder. You don't go on to Vero. You don't know the situation, and this is why you're talking out your tiny behind. Have been a great honour to Snyder. Instead, this is a waste of money on par with the fans who took out a Bring Back Legends billboard after Star Wars made the old expanded universe not canon following Disney's acquisition of the company. It's not going to change anything. No, let's just not fight. Let's just sit there and let all the important people who run sites, who run Hollywood, do what they want with our money. Yes, our money. Right. Warner Brothers isn't going to have a large presence at the con. They won't have a superhero-centric panel. At most, they're showing footage from It Chapter 2 at Scare Diego. We know all this. An off-site event. There's no one there to impress, really, and most people have forgotten about Justice League and are more eager for Joker, Birds of Prey, and Wonder Woman 1984. It's true, we are looking forward to those films. I certainly am. So I agree with you there, Mary. So check out the billboards if you're at SDC, but otherwise don't expect much. Warner Brothers probably wants to distance themselves from the early days of the DCEU as much as possible. Really? Have you seen Shazam? Were they distancing themselves with those cameos from Man of Steel and Batman v Superman? Wrong again, Mary. As much as possible, and that means not spending a lot of money to finish an unfinished 3-hour cut that only a small percentage of fans want to see. So uninformed. Snyder Cut fans, I'm sorry, but this isn't going the way you think. Wow. Oh, wow, these people are amazing. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary, for your insight, for your opinion. But guess what? This is our fandom. We love Zack Snyder. That's not toxic. We love Zack Snyder. We love Superman. We love Batman. We love Man of Steel. We love Batman v Superman. We like Suicide Squad. We love Wonder Woman, right? We love Aquaman, and Shazam was an awesome film. We love those films. Going forward, we are excited, but we love Zack Snyder. And Zack Snyder was betrayed by Kevin Sugihara, who told him his film would go out there and Joss Whedon would finish it off for him the way that he wanted it done. Zack needed to go off and be with his family. How many more times do I have to say that? Visualize it. Visualize what you're talking about, Mary Sue. Right? And who's the other one? Who's the other one? Julia Alexander, right? Julia Alexander. Vision this, right? You have a daughter who's killed herself. Think about that. At least try and be seemingly human, right? You are talking about us like we're toxic. Do you know what Deb Snyder said about us? That we're the best. That she loves us like we're part of her family. Would someone who's lost their daughter say that if we were a bunch of toxic people? No. I understand Zack and Deb want their movie released, and they've integrated us to fight with them. They need us. We're the public. We're the consumer. I get that. I get what it means to an end. But I don't blame them for that. They're not doing anything wrong. Right? I get that. But at the end of the day, she's appreciated what we've done, because we spoke about depression, about suicides, haven't we? And she appreciates that. They appreciate that. There's no toxicity here. The fans reacting to you people making fun of us. I don't react to you normally because you call us trolls, but you're the real trolls. You trigger ordinary, decent consumers into anger. And then you go, well, telling by the comments from all this, you can tell they're toxic fans. It's a stitch up. I get it. But when you crush someone's balls, or you grab someone by the vagina and you squeeze it, it's going to hurt. And they're going to react to you. An animal will always defend itself. So we're not trolls. We're not toxic. But I don't have to defend myself to you. We know what we are. Look, I don't know what a good person is or a bad person. Everyone is flawed. I get that. But this is a just cause. No, Mary Sue, we may never get to see this cut. We may never win this fight. But that doesn't mean you don't try. Did the whole of the world and the Allies decide not to fight Hitler because it was a futile gesture? Would you have said that back then? then we would never have won. Churchill wouldn't have defeated Hitler in the end if we was oh, well, he's just too powerful. That's the attitude. That's the attitude of people who know nothing about good fandoms, know nothing about storytelling or this industry. They're writing, it's like they're completing an exam they haven't revised for. They're just here for the cheese and the honey and the glory. They don't care about us. They don't care about the film industry. All they care about is that enough of this is represented and that's represented. That's not film fans. Hollywood is dead. It's full of political extremists, not movie fans anymore. But us fighting for this cut, we are fans. We are true fans. And we should be proud of what we've achieved. We're not toxic. We're not bad people. We're trying to help. We want to see the film we were promised. And hopefully, one day, we will.